Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. So the other day I went to the nursery. You saw me do that. I took you with me and I found a sun gold with two plants in it. At least I hope it's two plants, but no matter what, I will get two plants out of that. There it is. Beautiful. Now we're going to take it apart and see exactly what's in there. Is it one trunk that split off into two plants, or do they have independent roots? Now, I would hope they would have independent roots, but if not, I could always cut it off and water root one and then plant the other one. So I'm taking off some of the lower leaves. We're not going to need it anyways, and since I'm not sure where I really want to end up planting this, we're going to put them both in pots, unless I have to water root one. I don't know yet. So I'm trimming some of the leaves, and notice I don't take them all off because the plant needs leaves, but you can, cut a leaf in half. Now let's pull, gently pull. I could do this underwater, but tomato plants are so resilient that I don't bother with them. Hold on, it is two plants. Two plants with independent roots. Yes, one has more roots than the other, but they're going to be fighting for space, so it always works that way. Now I'm going to take these pots, because you never throw away your pots that you get from other plants. You wash them and you stick them somewhere so when you need them, you know where they are. We want to recycle those pots. They're wonderful. They cost money to go buy them. And I'm going to put in here, as you can see, a potting mix. It's mixed with a little bit of soil from some of my totes as well. Now I mix it to save money. So I'll get myself a bag of potting mix, and then I'll mix it with some of the soil coming out of my other totes. And you got to be careful. Make sure there's nothing in there that's going to eat your plants. But I looked through it and it's pretty good. It works. And at this point, for seedlings or propagating, it might be good to pick up a bag of potting soil. Try to get something that's a well-known name brand. Now I'm going to plant them both in there. Boy, these are big when you think about it. It was $5.50 for two, which was really $5.50 for one plant, but there were two in there, so $2.75. And when I'm through, I hope to have at least 5 to 10 plants total out of this. I don't know if I need that many more, but I'm going to get some more going. Now the bottoms are really tiny, the suckers, so really they are too small to start. Now see how they're kind of wobbly a little bit? I could stake them up with a skewer or some popsicle sticks or just a branch off a tree. But right now I'm going to put them in a shoebox, and I want to make sure that they're watered good. But you know what I do with rocks? I'm going to put the rocks there. Now, I want to make sure that water flows all the way through, because what you want is you want to make sure that the tiny roots, the feeder roots, are adhered to the soil. So just packing it in wet soil won't work. The water kind of makes everything mingled together, and then the plant will be good to go. So water it quite a few times, and you want to make sure the water is draining through all the way to the bottom. And I am going to make sure that this shoebox has about a half an inch, quarter of an inch of water in there, because I don't want the tomato plants to dry out at all. Now I am placing my rocks there. The rocks will protect where the roots are. It also protects when you water it, and it will keep it from rocking. It works. For me, it works. If you've got your own way, of course, you do it the way you want. This will work fantastic, and this is how I do it. Now, those suckers are really small. I really prefer to pull them off when they're at least 2 inches. Here's a couple I already pulled off of some other tomato plants growing around the yard, which I did not label, but if I pulled them off, I must have liked them. And here's a smaller one. Let me take the smaller one and show you how we can plant it. Because when you do a plant and you want to put it in a pot that's come out of water, you can't just plant it and forget about it. It won't work a lot of time. 50% of the time, if not more, you will lose your plant. So we're going to go ahead, and we trimmed off some of the bottom leaves, as you saw. Just a few, like half. And now we're going to take any pot. Remember, we recycle pots. We put some potting soil in there. And it is a little bent, and it should be fine. I don't worry about that. But I'm going to take off some more of the leaves. It doesn't need all the leaf matter and that piece on the bottom that was definitely dead. It doesn't need that. Now we're tucking it in. Notice it looks like an L shape, so it's bent. But I want the plant to look straight. So I put it in with the L shape on the bottom. And that's it. So now when the plant grows, it will get more roots and it will grow nice and straight. If it wasn't planted straight, it will straighten itself out too. We're going to pat it in, and it really should use some rocks right where I bent it. Now, right now we want to water it. I'll borrow some rocks from the other tomato plant. Now notice I'm putting it where it was bent. Now it's going to be held still. Now These are fantastic. Medicine bottles, vitamin bottles, do not throw those away. Excellent to recycle. You can propagate with those. Perfect size to cut a plant. Look at this basil. And drop in there and sit on a windowsill or something. Look at the roots on the basil. I brought in a big chunk of basil, used it, and I had a little offshoot, dropped it in there, and it's rooting. Now those on the bottom, these suckers are too small, but I'm going to do them anyways for you. Now I'm going to cut part of the leaf, and now I can just drop it in my medicine bottle. Now that's fine, but if I'm not looking sometimes, the basil might knock it in there, say, I'm going to push you in there. I'm going to drown you, because tomato plants don't swim and they're not underwater plants. So let me show you another way. A lot of us do use spices. Now some of the spice jars, look at that. It's full of water. It's all cleaned with fresh water, tap water. Look at that. It's got holes on the top. Guess what? You can propagate really tiny plants that way, because now it's not swimming. It's not going to drop to the bottom. The only thing is you've got to make sure that the water is all the way to the top so it doesn't dry out, because these things do dry out quite quickly. I'll go ahead and take another one off. The tomato plant will do better without the suckers anyways on the bottom, even if these are too small and don't make it. But the same thing, look at this. Isn't that cool? So keep your spice bottles, and if you know somebody that uses a lot of spices, tell them you want their bottles. Now, there's not much to do. Now we're just going to take the shoebox with those 3 plants in there. We're going to find a place out of the way where no little dogs or anybody will knock it over. So the main thing you want to do right now is make sure there's a little bit of water in there. Keep them well watered. The rocks will hold them, because you don't want the base to rock. You want it to start building new roots. I removed some of the lower ones. You saw I put them in a spice bottle, but the point is they're really little. I would have preferred them about that big. So I'm going to leave these and let these grow, and then I'll end up with a whole bunch of sun gold tomatoes. And these will be ready for me to put out in the garden probably in another week or 2. I'm not sure where I want to plant them. Otherwise I could have planted them right away. But since I'm not sure, I'm going to leave them. And this one will sit in there too, so the roots will develop, because it's only got tiny roots. We leave it alone. We let it sit here, and it will rock naturally from the wind, but it's not going to get shook up. And this is a good place for it. And it's out of the sun. It will get a little bit of sun, from the other side, but this will be basically no sun beating on it, more in the shade, getting indirect sunlight. And that's all there is to it. I hope I gave you some ideas on how to propagate. Well, I have so many ways of propagating, but right now I ended up with 2 plants for the price of 1. But when I'm done, I should have at least another 3 or 4, and as it starts to grow, I could end up with 10 sun golds. Do I want that many? I don't know, but we'll see. So I hope you enjoyed this. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. And if you like this, share this with people so they know that they can split plants if they find 2. They can propagate plants and then get more for their money. Bye-bye. Oh, we don't want tomatoes trying to grow. You want to take off any flowers right now, because we want the plant to concentrate on the lower half and let the rest of it take hold good. You want to see? Oh my goodness, you step on my foot and you say, I want to see. This is it. This is what I was working on. You don't eat tomatoes. You don't eat anything unless you're not supposed to eat it. What do you think? Look good? Did I do it right? Let's go see how the tomatoes are doing. Looking good. Zoe's looking. Look at it. These are all peppers. I've got so many more. An eggplant. Look at this. Standing nice and tall. Even the little one we did. I'll take the water out probably in about 3 days, but it's only on the very bottom. See, you can always see just a little bit of water. It only goes about that high. We don't want to rot our plants, but we want to make sure that all of them get a really good start. Okay, quite pleased.